Welcome to Unit 7 of the Idaho Victory Garden course. This unit covers harvest and storage basics and also talks about seed saving. Now there's a lot of content in this unit, and in the presentations that we normally give to the live class, there's a lot of reference material, a lot of charts and tables. So instead of talking you through all of these, we decided to give you a brief introduction, and then we made the other PowerPoints available as PDF files so that you can look at them as quickly or as slowly as you wish. You can also choose to print out or save any of the information there for future reference. So we'll get started with this brief introduction, and then you are set free to go through the other presentations on your own. So harvesting and storing your garden's bounty. So a lot of this information was taken from a bulletin, which we've included in your course materials, and that is Harvesting and Storing Fresh Garden Vegetables by Joanne Robbins, Michael Colt, and Martha Radel. So when we're talking about harvesting our garden vegetables, timing is everything. We want to harvest at the right stage, and this is both for the peak nutrition and the peak flavor. And this is one of the best things about growing a garden, is that you have the option to harvest things right at the peak of ripeness, not before. You don't have to harvest them when they're still green because they're going to be traveling thousands of miles. So you can go out to the garden and harvest it on just the perfect time, when it is going to taste its absolute best and have the most vitamin and mineral content. So you also want to be careful not to harvest when you're not ready to use something, especially in the garden, because vegetables stay alive after harvest. They're still respiring, and while they do that, they're breaking down their cellular contents. And this is what the plant would be doing to provide energy for its plant processes. But when we're talking about a harvested fruit or vegetable, this respiring and breaking down actually leads to just basically rotting or to aging of the produce. So harvest when it's ready, but harvest when you need it. So when is the best time to harvest? Typically earlier in the morning is the best time because they are likely to be cool, they're likely to be at their peak water absorption, and most turgid for handling. So this means they're going to be a little bit more resilient. If you've ever tried to go harvest lettuces or other greens in the afternoon, you notice how they seem much more flimsy. Maybe they've started to show afternoon signs of heat stress or drought stress. So I typically would want to harvest on the morning after an irrigation so that they were full of water, juicy, and cool, so you don't have to spend a lot of time removing the field heat from them. So if you are harvesting something with a waxy waterproof skin, so like a cucumber or something like that, you can pre-treat it in ice water to quickly remove the field heat. Sometimes you want to wash things right after you harvest them. In some cases, it actually leads to faster breakdown. But for something that you're harvesting and it is still warm and it is going to be in cold storage, it's a good idea to cool it down before you store it. So just a little bit about quality and how quality starts in the garden. So vegetable quality is going to start deteriorating rapidly after storage. Even the freshest garden produce is going to break down eventually. So once you've harvested, try to keep it cool and shaded, even if you're going to be out in the garden for a little while, or at best bring it into the house immediately and cool it and then refrigerate it, or just cook, process, or store it right away. That's the luxury of having things growing in your backyard, is that we don't have to do a lot of harvesting ahead of time and let things sit in the refrigerator or in the pantry for long periods of time. So it goes without saying that you would want to avoid damaging your fruits or vegetables. This is going to speed up the ripening process. It's also going to create pathways for mold and bacteria to get in there, some of which will make the produce rot faster. Others of it might end up making you sick. So just handle gently. And if you have damaged produce, try to use that right away. Maybe incorporate it into your meal that night, but don't store it for a long period of time because it's going to, like I said, rot faster and possibly be open to pathogens. A couple more harvest notes. So peak harvest is going to depend on the age of the plant and also the plant part. And in the PowerPoint that we've included that is not narrated, we go step by step through the different vegetables and when they are at their peak harvest time, and that's also in the booklet that we've included. So if you're talking about a perennial like asparagus or rhubarb, it's going to be different. They're harvested at a different time than, say, something that's fruiting like a bean or a tomato or a cucumber. So harvesting at the right time gives you the best flavor, the best nutrient content, and the best chance for storage. And we talk about storage a lot in the included PowerPoint, but just a few things that I wanted to mention here is that when we're storing so that we can reduce that rate of respiration and the rate at which our vegetables degenerate. So we're trying to keep them fresh for as long as we possibly can. And the best storage conditions are going to vary depending on the type of vegetable that you've harvested, the type of plant part, and some other factors as well. So we go through step by step the ideal storage conditions in terms of temperature and humidity for several different kinds of vegetables. And again, that's both in the bulletin and in the PowerPoint that is not narrated. And just keep in mind that often at home, the ideal storage conditions for long-term storage aren't going to be available. When you look at the way commercially, say, apples or onions or potatoes are stored, they're in typically in a little bit warmer or colder than your typical home refrigerator, and the humidity levels are going to be different and carefully controlled, and we can't always replicate that at home. So just keep that in mind and do your best to follow the guidelines for optimal storage. So we're going to go into these two topics in much more depth, both in the harvest and storage PowerPoint that is going to be available to you in a PDF form. It is not narrated, so it's go at your own pace and take the information that you need. And then also downloading Harvesting and Storing Fresh Garden Vegetables or ordering a copy through the University of Idaho Extension catalog, or sometimes we carry it at many of the Extension offices. This is going to be a great resource for you. It goes vegetable by vegetable, talks about the best time to harvest, the perfect way to store it, and also has some information on use and nutrition. So both of these things together are going to really help you in your harvesting and storing efforts. So enjoy this week, and don't forget to check out the seed saving resources as well.